Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy DJ LO Cart. Coming to just let you guys know that today we're going to be talking a little bit about Lovecraft Country. Your boy just saw the latest episode, and man, got your boy in his feelings a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just got you in your feelings. You know, but I am excited because we have special guests here today. So if you guys have not watched Lovecraft Country, then you need to get your life and figure out why you have not seen this amazing show. And we are going to be joined by some special guests today. Today we'll actually be having Hatsephi Kushma, who has done wardrobe for many productions, but specifically she worked on the Jig-a-Bobo episode. So Topsy and Bopsy, you'll be able to, ask some questions and all that kind of stuff. And first off, I got to bring in my co-host for today, you know what I mean? Because this just wouldn't be right if I did not have Ash Gotem.
Hey.
Also, can we just... first off,
I'm back. I got a new studio.
Every day, it feels like your studio just gets better and better every day. Can we just give it up a little bit for Ashley for her studio, always looking on point?
Oh, stop.
Yeah. Yesterday we had some technical difficulties on Blur.radio, and we found out literally at the end of the episode what was wrong, and it was not Ashley's fault at all. So
no, it wasn't. The most technologically advanced host on the show next to you, and you thought it was me. I'm offended.
I'm sorry. I'm literally sorry.
And I was the only woman. Oh.
And yes. Ashley was the only person that got kicked off the show because it just apparently Ashley really likes Letty.
I love Letty. Oh my god.
It literally has been repeating, it was repeated the entire time throughout our
I don't even really remember what I was talking about in the context of the loop, but
it probably has something to do with sex, probably.
Not in that sense. I think it was more so her relationship with Atticus in episode 8.
Oh my gosh.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, y'all missed out on all this virtual goodness.
Yes.
You're very right. And I feel a little like I'm actually quite sad that we did not get you on for the whole show. It really hurt my heart to be like, nah, we got to figure this thing out. And too bad we figured it out at the end.
Mm.
But today is redemption, though. Because we're going to be talking about two things that me and Ashley have been having a lot of discussions about, which is Lovecraft Country. So one more time, if you have not been watching Lovecraft Country, we got to give it a little bit of a hand clap. Sorry. It's fire.
I can't clap for some reason. I don't have hand clapping abilities in the virtual sphere.
That's all right. It works. I think what you got right now works.
So you get the little hands behind the head.
So also, Ashley, can we just talk about real quick how you predicted pretty much... half of episode 3, you kind of knew what was already up.
I predicted a lot of aspects of the show, more so characters that we have been introduced to, all the major characters that were introduced as of episode 3. I pretty much predicted all of their character arcs and traumas for the most part.
So
I did not call Atticus actually being the mysterious stranger. Did not see that. No one knows if you don't know what the mysterious stranger is hinting at by this point, if you're watching this stream, I really
hold on. The only reason I'm saying that right now is because the two people that are joining us on this chat has not watched that episode yet. So
okay, well,
the
show does a good job of peppering in details because they mentioned the mysterious stranger at least 3 different times by 3 different characters. But if you're not paying attention, you won't really notice the importance of the mysterious stranger, which I didn't either until this particular episode.
Right.
Like, literally not until the very moment when it's revealed, I was like, oh, so this was all supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I was not ready for that. I was really hoping the other change in history would happen between Montrose and his character. Again, I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just saying.
But we should not talk too much about that access of that episode. And that's mainly because the two people on this episode have not watched it. So I don't want to spoil anything for them. And if we talk too much, if this particular episode is so easy to spoil. Like,
I mean, it's literally the penultimate episode. The season finale next week. Y'all need to hurry up.
Yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to watch that episode, like for real. So
if nothing else, it definitely has me inspired to go back and watch Watchmen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I honestly put off watching Watchmen because I thought it was just going to be another interpretation of what Zack Snyder did to the graphic novel, and I was not interested in anything Watchmen after watching the movie.
Yeah.
But to find out that the series is actually revolving around a Black woman, now you got my interest. So,
yeah. So I mean,
Watchmen, Regina the Queen King. So I have to watch it because everything she touches is gold.
I feel like this can even be kind of both of them HBO series. You know what I'm saying? Like, multiverses we talking about here. I don't know.
Well, what if in the season finale?
I don't know.
You have Regina King's character from Watchmen show up.
I mean,
in Lovecraft country, because they've been going real crazy with like the continuity of the books. So, I mean, they got the whole DC multiverse thing hinted at and all this. I'm saying, I need to watch the damn film.
I'm just saying, it's a possibility. It's most definitely a possibility. But I think we should most definitely probably add in our first guest. She is a major in the military. So she's a fitness guru, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me speak.
I mean, as a major in the military, I think she'd be able to bench press a number of us.
I mean, she has won some competitions, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, a little home brag.
You know,
I'm just talking to you guys. It ain't no big deal.
If you can follow her on all social media, but her name is It's Amazing. Joining in on the chat, coming in from El Paso, Texas right now. How's it going? It's amazing.
Hey.
So, It's Amazing is not necessarily the biggest horror enthusiast. It makes her very nervous from what I'm hearing. So, how have you been doing Lovecraft Country? It's amazing. How's your journey been?
It's not been too bad, but that's why we haven't watched the other episodes. So first of all, Ash, I got to watch it in the daytime. And the only time I get to watch in the daytime is either on Saturdays or Sundays. So I always find myself one episode behind because I will watch the last week's episode on Sunday right before the new episode comes out. So, but the other thing I've realized is every other episode is gory. So I'll probably catch this one prior to Sunday. I'll probably catch it sometime during the week. I think this will be one I can watch at nighttime.
This one's not as gory, but there really wasn't any gory scenes. There was a really tough scene to witness, just in general, of this reenacting the Tulsa massacre. And it honestly brought me to tears. Like, this whole episode was just very emotionally tiring to witness.
Yeah.
Which is also why I'm probably going to watch it on the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't
I can't go to work with all that weight on my shoulder.
Oh no, especially if you work with white folks. This episode will have you feeling a certain kind of way about your white coworkers. Like you know, not them. It's not them. But it just, you can't help but feel like I just really don't want to see any white faces right now. I just don't.
Yeah, it's a bit much. So it's amazing. What has been like would you say the most difficult episode for you to watch so far?
Probably the monster one.
As in like the first one?
Yeah. As far as gore is concerned, and then probably Daegu, but just because I could have did without Daegu.
That was that was crazy. I saw that at the drive-through special that they had in Chicago, and literally said "What the f" out loud after that first scene with Gia and that dude. I'm like, this is so messy.
My dude was having the best time of his life for like 5 seconds.
It was so messy. All the it's just too much. That was my big thing. I was like, who's gonna clean this up? I'm not doing it.
Apparently the mama was.
But for me though,
I don't know what kind of pine saw they got over there in Korea, but we need it over here.
But for me, honestly, what I'm loving about Lovecraft is all of the historical context and everything like that. So that's what I like the most. That's actually why I'm still watching it, as well as so it actually helps that the Jig-a-Bobo episode was this far, because I probably would have stopped before I was able to really start enjoying all of the historical Easter eggs,
Yeah.
So,
and they've been hitting Bobo since like episode 3.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty off. We're having some folks who are in the comments. Shout outs to Leonard Peck, who just said first off, he was like, he wanted to know like how things are a little bit different from the book and whatnot. So they
I don't know. I waited until after the show to really read it. But from what I know so far is that D is actually a boy in the book named Chris. Uncle George has a different outcome than what we've seen in the show. The police chief apparently plays a big role in the end, and that's all the like big points that I'm aware of so far.
Right. Oh, and less black people. It was much less black people in the original story. So.
Oh, that's not funny. Austin.
Yeah. Also, and William just said, I don't think I'll be able to look at the L Quincy Stop the same way ever again. And I think that's a really good, swag way to bring in the woman of the hour for this particular conversation, which is, her name is Hatsephi Kushma. She's also known as Umi in my household, which is another word for mother. So my mom works on wardrobe, and I think it would be great to get her insight, especially considering that she worked on the Jig-a-Bobo episode. So without further ado, bring it to the stage, my mama, our mama, it's Hatsephi Kushma. What it do, mama? Who's getting the internet right? Who's getting the internet right now? How you doing, lady?
What's up? How you doing? I'm good. Really excited.
Yep.
So you got a chance. You have been working. First off, can you tell us a little bit about like your history with wardrobe and film and all that jazz?
I've been listening to you all and enjoying the show and everything. So that's cool. How you doing, Ashley?
Oh, we're good, Mom.
You breaking up? You say.
Oh no, we're good.
You going in and
Yeah, so the same thing is
out.
happening
I
from
can't really
your.
hear you. You keep breaking up on me.
Yeah, the same thing is happening on our end for you. So we're hearing like every other word that you're saying.
Mm. Yep.
Well, yep.
But
There.
you going in and out. So the question is what again?
Oh, the question is, tell us a little bit about your history, how you got into film. Just to kind of give us a little backstory.
I can put you back on mine.
Well, I've been in arts and entertainment for 40 years. So I started off as a technician and moved up to, producing, production manager in television productions, television broadcast productions. And then in 2000, I moved over into film. So when I moved over to film, and that's when I decided that I wanted to do wardrobe. I did props for a minute, but I really like doing wardrobe. I think the first film project was an Asian film, so everybody spoke Japanese. We had two interpreters. Actually the wardrobe designer, and when I was going through a lot of the main character, the principal players, he was going through all his different outfits and everything, and I was sitting on the floor and I didn't like a particular outfit, and I said, you should just take that off, change that, and put on something else. And he started undressing in front of me, and he was so cute. I said to myself, you know what, I like it. So at that point I was gonna like, then props, And so since 2000, for the last 20 years, I've worked on several productions, a couple of them who had, Emmy nominations. Most recent ones was working last year in Chicago on the pilot for Batwoman, the CW one, and uh, hold on for a second.
There we go. Shout outs to technology working itself out.
We're dealing with technical stuff right now. Okay, how we doing now?
We're good. Now we just got.
We still good, LG?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. So I worked on the like I said, the Batwoman pilot, and then in October I started working.
There you go. Hold on a sec. Come on.
Let's see.
All right, there we go. Yep. All right, you're good. You say you was working on the Batwoman pilot?
I worked on the Batwoman pilot out of Chicago, and that was pretty cool. And then I worked on a couple other television series, but I came on back home because I was doing some other things. I'm at a point after being in the industry this many years. I also teach film studies at Webster University and at St. Louis University. So I get to pick and choose what I want to work on and what I don't want to work on. I don't have to hustle and chase money like I used to. So now I kind of just like, okay, that sounds like a good project. I'll work on that, or no, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, that's kind of me.
All right.
Yeah,
so
be in your seat right now. No, like she's basically where I want to get to when I get well to my years as well. I've got, I gotta hustle no more. I've made a name for myself. I can pick and choose projects. I'm very much in the midst of my hustle season, and I'm like just trying to make sure I'm getting paid on time and make sure I'm not shortchanging myself and just networking with people. So I've been like hounding Elgin forever to like get his mom on screen so I can like at least listen to her and try to like you know, pick your brain in terms of what your trajectory has been like, you know, in film as a Black woman working in post. I myself am an editor.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm a video editor and a motion graphics designer. So I just try to get as involved with all parts of post-production as I can outside of what my wheelhouse. And anytime I can just, you know, talk to people in different legs of that process, I'm, you know, just trying to glean as much information as I can and maybe even discover that there's another aspect of post outside of, you know, video that I might actually have a knack for.
Yeah. Well, you got when you start off, you kind of have to be a jack of all trades until you really discover what it is that where your passion is. And then that's what then that's what you really, really focus your time on. Because I mean, in this industry, so many people are breaking into it. And then when you have the accessibility of being able to create any type of motion picture with all the different social media outlets and networks available to you, everybody's doing it. So the competition becomes greater. However, if you're working in an area where you're in a film union or something like that, then you're asking and you're getting top dollars when you're getting union wages, and that's sweet. That's real sweet. So in the meantime, you kind of pay your dues, and it's still you have fun on the way.
Yeah, I'm having fun. I'm still fairly young. I think I just maybe put too much pressure on myself to hit certain goal points by certain ages. And unfortunately, the economy and just the industry as a whole has changed as such where, you know, by 25, you're not necessarily going to be a senior assistant editor in a post house because a lot of things are moving towards more like in-house things. So this is more so a freelance kind of world we are living in where you have to just market yourself a lot better and network a lot better than what you might have had to do back in the day.
I wasn't easy back in the day either.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's a lot of networking that had to go on. I mean, film festivals, this, that, and the other. I mean, just where you pitching your stuff, and then a lot of times, like back in the day, when you would go out there and they'll say something for novice, this is for novice. You know, we're designing this for people trying to break in the industry, and then when you get there and try to, you know, compete, you'll still see that the people who are getting recognitions or somebody who has some established filmmaker behind them as executive producers. And it's like, what, huh? You know, they've been around for a long time. So, you know, you still have to hustle and really, really try to find people who are going to, outlets that are going to be open and accessible to you. You know, so the grind is real. The grind was real for me then. The grind and the irony of it all, when I'm on a set and I look around, a lot of the people on the set are still old heads.
Yeah,
y'all still.
That's one of the things where it's like, no offense to those who are still in the industry, but it's like, could y'all, you know, maybe just move aside for the younger generation, like, you know, just a smidgen, scooch over just a little bit. Like, you can pick projects and then maybe just let us have the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, well, y'all creating everything. We have to move aside because if you're not staying up with the technology, a lot of these old heads gonna have to sit back anyway.
Yeah.
What we have in our favor is the elements of that. What goes into pre-production, production, and post-production, the process and the storytelling and the aesthetics don't change, but technology does. And if old heads can't keep up with the technology, you're gonna have plenty of room, sweetheart.
Yeah, and some are like real stubborn about learning new technology too.
Yeah. You gotta stay on top of it.
Speaking of which, the video that y'all seeing on screen right now was actually edited by Ashley. She did it all herself. You know what I mean? Like, we had like the little bit of footage, but she really turned this the recap video. And this is her second recap video that she's done for PocketCon, and yeah, it's just amazing. Also, the design actually turned a very white and Asian software into this beautiful blackness that she is currently in right now. So she is currently and continuously innovating, in my opinion. Always killing the game. So
Thank
Yeah.
you. I try.
I hear a lot about you, so I'm seeing that success is definitely for you.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot coming from you.
yeah,
It
yeah.
really does.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So Lovecraft Country.
Mhm.
You were very close and integral for this new process in the episode for the Jig-a-Bobo.
Yes. He
Let's.
has crafted many nightmares for the next couple weeks.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how you able to sit next to
Mm.
Bobsy and Bobsy.
Mm.
Oh my god.
No.
So
That's you don't, when you're working, it just isn't. It's just is the thing about working behind scenes. It takes all of the other surprise and scare things out of a situation, because you're working. You know, for I didn't have any really idea the context of which their performance was going to come out and be portrayed, because with this particular series, period, which they have been working on for a while, they have been very secretive and protective of the script. This is the very first film or television series that I worked on where there was no script for
oh
us
wow.
to look at. I've
Mm.
never worked on anything where I didn't have a script to read through from finish to end, or this particular episode. I've never been in that situation before. With this one, we never had anything to read. We only had our dailies that were printed out as to what time your call time is going to be, where you were going, and who was going to be on the scene. They may say, extras on the L platform, uh, writing with Christina, and where you have to show up, stunt doubles here and there. Topsy and Bopsy are going to arrive at so and so time, and they might say, Topsy and Bopsy alley scene, Topsy and Bopsy subway, but there was nothing to indicate what the hell they were going to be doing. I had a sheet with information about I think it was like what they, because of course there were two crews. There was our crew, the Chicago crew, and then the other crew, the Atlanta crew, the other crews, and they were saying, okay, so you got to make sure that they weren't, here's her green suit, or here's Bopsy's this or that. So her sock has to be up on this one, and Topsy's is up and Bopsy's is down, and back and forth. But that's the only information I got, is to where to make sure that the dirt on one side was on that leg consistently, and that her stocking always stayed up. So, in being a set person, you're on set with them, making sure that every time you look, that the continuity is not broken. But there was nothing in terms of how the overall performance was going to be. See, like, so for me to have spent a whole cold day in October with them, and then it winds up being supposedly the hottest day in July, that is, it's different when you have it from my point of view, and then when I see it on the screen, it's kind of funny. It makes you laugh. But I was working that day, so to stand by them and sit by them and make sure that they had their coats on before they said camera rolling, and by the time they get to the top of the scene, top of the steps, and they say cut, that I got to run back upstairs to make sure they have coats back on and heat warmers in their hands and their shoes. out of a 3-hour workout of going up and down the steps, they just become just like my kids that I'm responsible for making sure that they're not cold and they don't catch a cold. Because they've been there since 5 o'clock this morning in makeup, and it's freaking cold outside for real, for real.
Mm.
I would have
So you
thought they
form a
would
different kind of
dump this in,
relationship.
like, Atlanta or something. Like just for the heat.
Yeah,
I guess a lot of like color correction, because like I believed it was summertime. I did not for a second think they were standing outside with no sleeves in Chicago in October.
Not at all. Not at all.
In a burlap dress. I mean, that was straight burlap for real. Like back in the day, that's the authenticity of what needed to happen is when we were back in the day where they was jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton, jump down, turn around, pick a bale of hay. They wore Omega burlap dresses, and the what fascinated me about that is my mom is 100 years old. She'll be 101 next month.
Can we just clap it up one time for anybody that knows?
Yeah. So my mom is a fashion plate. When I was young, I used to just watch my mom get dressed. I mean, she's a diva. And when she was younger, she said living in the country and she picked cotton and things like that. She said they used to wear these little burlap dresses. So what Bopsy and Topsy had on was something my mom had described to me. And she said, well, what happened, the flour came in these burlap bags. And what they would do is they would bleach out the word Omega. That was the name of the flour. They would bleach it out, take those sacks and make them into dresses. I had never seen one until I worked on this shoot. And I was like, damn, this is a straight up burlap dress that Topsy and Bopsy are wearing. So it provided some personal history for me that, this one. So it's the connection that I have to not having a script and just in the storytelling that I don't even know about that made it very personal for me. And keeping them warm was important for me. And then Ashley, how you said you couldn't tell that it was, not that it was not hot. Well, in a scene with Christina, I think that might have been episode.
Goodness gracious.
And a good spray bottle.
You got cold water sprayed on top of you in October, Chicago there.
Yeah.
I hope you got paid well.
My goodness.
What I was trying to say about the leaves falling, when the scene where Christina is coming to confront Letty to try to get into Letty's house and she can't get in.
Oh, is that the I think that's like in the 3rd episode or something like that.
I'm sure that's like 3.
3 or 4.
when she's that's the scene. The day we shot that scene, that was the day when we got there early. It was dark and leaves were just falling and turning colors, and the person kept, sweeping them up. Well, we didn't really actually roll camera till like around 9 or 10. So, but the street had to always look like it's no leaves, and it's funny because when I actually watched that scene. And Christina is walking up the steps, I see a couple of leaves fall off the tree. And I'm like, call for them to be playful and silly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, like even in Uncle Tom's Cabin, okay, which is the book that falls off the shelf. So pickaninnies are supposed to be so dancing and playful. They just these little black nigglets that just just jump around and they're just having so fun. They're just these little crazy and playful beings. So that was what their character was supposed to project, that they're haunting this girl and they're having fun. They are Bopsy and Topsy, which were little jigabos, And so these little jigaboos are supposed to be having fun. This just like in school days when they say, "Oh, you all jigaboos, try to find something to do." So it's this playfulness that goes with them. So that's what they were supposed to be, and so that's what they were doing, and that's why you all were laughing. So they have the element of being scary, but they were also supposed to have an element of these little funny creatures or people that you laugh at. That's why like that. You see the image that you have over there with Uncle Tom's Cabin. They have this smile on their face, so they it's just like But for them, when they said cut, I told you it was cold. When they said cut, they were right back down the steps, shivering like this. And mind you, these young ladies, I think they're one was like 24, one 22. They're in their 20s. They're very agile young ladies, straight up dancers, just like with the picture that you saw that I took with them, where one has their leg all the way up over their head. The one when they came up to the top of the steps, I was a little disappointed when I watched it last night, because when Bobsy comes up the steps and then her sister comes up the steps and then she goes into a back bend and then her sister whispers something in her ear.
Yeah, I remember that.
When she whispers something in her ear, then they cut and then they come back. And when they come back, the other one has already turned back over. In essence, though, really, when the girl comes up the steps and goes into a back bend, the way that she comes out that back bend, she turns her body around like a contortionist. We didn't get to see her do that. I did. And I'm like, damn, y'all missed a good part of how agile she is and how she was able to make that contorted move to turn around and for them to go into this little dance that they go into the platform. You know what I mean? Now, that scene, it took us, dang, how many hours? About 3 hours? I'm serious. We started that scene and then we broke for lunch. And then we came back and we were still doing that scene. Just of them walking from the bottom of the steps to the top of the platform before they change, because they have to keep changing camera angles until they're ready to actually do the dance where they're going, together they're going down the platform to chase D. Okay. So that's a whole nother camera reset where they're doing that part. But I'm talking about just going up and down the steps. That was crucial. They got there at 5:00 in the morning to get makeup for their faces to look like that. 5:00 in the morning. We probably didn't start rolling on them till about 10, 9:30 or 10. And then we rolled on them and then went to lunch and then came back. They worked the hell out of these two young ladies. Who yes.
Fan art already?
Who could dance for real. What did you say, Ashley?
I thought that was like fan art that he put up on the screen. Or was
Actually,
art?
That was actually a concept art. Shout out actually the young lady who did the concept art, whose name I will get in just a moment, was actually an alumni of this of the St. Louis School of the Arts Institute, Chicago. Not School of the Arts Institute, a Central Visual and Performing Arts High School, which is a school that I graduated from as well. So shout outs to that artist, you know what I mean? Getting that credit, So a lot of Midwest love going on with this series.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of Black women, which I love.
Absolutely. Black women are killing this this entire series. Another reason to also watch Watchmen if you have not as well, because Black women killing Watchmen as well. So
I'm very impressed with the representation of women in cinema that is being shown in this particular. Like, see that piece right there? I mean, this is all the little stuff that we would get. Maybe this is the scene, but there's nothing on there that says episode. So I worked with I worked with Journey and Courtney B. Vance's stunt doubles and photo doubles. And I would have been working with Journey and them on those particular weekends, but it rained that weekend. So Courtney and Journey did not come. Um, but I did get to work with, with his doubles and with Christina's character and with Bopsy and Topsy. So the people that I was working with the doubles had shot a lot of these scenes the year before. So we had two different crews of when these episodes were being shot, and there was nothing on there that said episode 8, episode 2, episode 1. So I see bits and pieces of some of the scenes, especially a lot of driving scenes with Christina. I was part of those, and some of them I saw in other episodes, and then some of them I saw in I saw most of my scenes in this episode, but I've seen them in other ones as well.
Wow. So you worked, and Mama, you've also worked with quite a few stunt doubles. Can you tell a little bit about like what that is? Because I don't think people really realize like when you see the actors on screen, you mostly just see the actor. But like, can you talk a little bit about like what the stunt double's role is? You know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, the stunt double and the photo double, they try to get them to look like them as close as possible. With the stunt double, all of the really hard work, like jumping from one train to the next, hanging off the side of the horse, just like even say for instance with Batwoman, we had a stunt double who did all her motorcycle scenes. So it wasn't the star who did her. She didn't do her own motorcycle scenes. I've worked with people with even like with the Chinese feature. There was a scene where the main character had to climb the side of a building dressed like Santa Claus. The stunt double climbed the side of the building because it was a high-story building, and you can't risk your main character actually falling and hurting themselves.
Right.
So they do the stunt double does a lot of the scenes, the hard, crucial scenes that calls for athletic skills.
Right.
The photo double basically is to help the cinematographer and the director and them set up your scene without spending a whole lot of time with the actors. The actor probably is sitting in their trailer or at the hotel till they're really ready to use them. And so the photo double is the person who, as they're lining up the shots, they use the photo double to to go back and forth and try all the different angles out, because it's a lot of work goes into shooting, making sure the lighting is right, everything is right. And then they have that kind of money to spare and splurge on things like that. So like, whereas I was the personal costumer for Bruce Willis a couple of years ago in Chicago on Death Wish. So when we did Death Wish, it was on L, and so the photo double, who looks a lot like Bruce, same size, head, everything looks a lot like him.
Yeah,
So
he does, though.
we spent a lot of time on the train while they just go through the shots back and forth. And it was interesting to me because it was a scene that didn't involve speaking. So Bruce didn't have to speak.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
He didn't have to do any speaking. All he had to do, I could have sent you a shot of us with him, but I'm it's too late now. But
we had like a central thing we were going to talk about. So,
but anyway, so as a photo double, he's there. He's got the right complexion. They get the right lighting and all of that. So all he had to do, he didn't have to talk. He just had to, be there as Bruce. And it was a scene where the main character was having flashbacks. He was the Bruce was talking to his psychiatrist or his therapist about how he sees all of these faces when he's walking down the street, when he's doing this, when he's da-da-da, and then when he's riding on the train. So he's telling his therapist that, and says, so I see these faces when I'm riding on the train. So he was supposed to be forlorn and upset and, you know, depressed about all these kind of things. So the scene would call for you to see Bruce on the train just being just really out of it, and, you know, because of what had happened to his family. So it took us about an hour and a half with the photo double for them to set that up. Then when Bruce finally came, then now Bruce is sitting there. He still don't have anything to say. And we did so many takes. It still was a whole nother hour for the director to finally say, you know, Bruce really not feeling it today. I'm like, damn, he ain't say nothing. He ain't had to do nothing but look forlorn. You know what I'm saying? So
that's like the perfect mood to be in when you don't want to be in it.
Right.
Tuesday.
So I would felt like all the time he was in his trailer. By the time he got there, he probably could have looked real pissed.
I mean,
I've been in my trailer for 3 freaking hours, and now I'm sitting here on this damn train.
And got paid to do it regardless.
Hey, now.
Exactly. So, but yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell what a photo double and a stunt double does.
Right on. So I think this is a good opportunity to just talk a little bit about the episode itself. Like, you know, there were a lot of themes that were going on in this particular episode. It was a lot. You know, we started off the episode literally dealing with the fact that Bobo, who they've been hinting at for quite a bit, is actually Emmett Till. And we all kind of knew that this was coming. You know, like, it's no way that you could have been like, you know, oh, this is gonna happen. Nah, they hit you off, and y'all got the nerve to play Cruel Summer at the beginning.
Cruel Summer.
Come on now.
You got me running to like vibe out, but then at the same time, I'm like, yo, but I'm vibing out, and we're in line to see a battered body. This is a mix of feelings right now.
Yo. So yeah, all the feels. Tell us a little bit about how it was for you, Mom, to, you know, watch this and see this played out. Like, did you have any insight that this was where they were going with this particular episode, or like how you feel?
Okay, well, of course, you know, I didn't know what the episode was going to be about. However, I do know that at some point we was going to come to it, just because with the Ouija board, when the kids were playing on the Ouija board, and you know, we knew that it was Emmett Till. So for him to be alive and for us to know historically what happened to him, and then we also had to think of the decade that we're in. So we know that it was inevitable that it was going to, you know, come out, because this Lovecraft country also deals with a lot of racism and just, you know, the signs of the time and what was going on. So when they, you know, with the Ouija board, that was to me the foreshadowing. It was just a matter of time as to when, you know. And then for me, not seeing a lot of scenes with Dee up until now. You know, all the episodes, we don't get much action with her, you know. But I know, okay, but Dee is somebody that I was on set with, you know. And I know that there's a significant thing with her. So when they did start you know, revealing some things about Dee, or wanting to introduce her into, you know, the rest of, you know, the Lovecraft country period, we see her with her friends, and we see them with this Ouija board. So for me, I'm feeling like, okay, when they introduce her friends, this is what's going to happen at some point. We're going to look at, I didn't know when Emmett Till's death was coming, but I knew it was inevitable. And then I kind of figured, since I hadn't seen anything else, that it was probably going to be in the scene where they're dealing with Dee and the Jig-a-Bobos. Of course, I don't really know anything because, as I stated before, no script.
Right. Right.
And how did I feel about it? The same way that I've always felt whenever I'm faced with what happened to Emmett Till.
Mm.
You know, with everything that's going on in the nation and has been going on with our, black youth, men, freedom riders, period. With what's been going on, whenever you look at what's happening today, you still have to go all the way back to Emmett Till.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's always going to be right there in the forefront in our face.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about them not showing us? You know.
In this episode.
Yeah, because like I was kind of mentally preparing myself for them to show me, Emmett's images, and it's funny. Like Uncle George, I'm sorry, uh,
Mantra.
Montrose said at the
Montrose.
beginning, it's like, oh, this is like a black person's rites of passage right off in the beginning for you to see this, right? And I can remember we in our household we actually did have a rites of passage, right? So we all watched Roots. I almost feel like we watched or we saw images of Emmett Till during that time as well. If not, I know it was around that same time. And yeah, seeing the images of Emmett, which I will not show right now. But because we are on a youth program and our kids should not have to watch that.
Right. I mean, it's still important, but it is pretty graphic. So it's like, for the purpose of our conversation right now, it is not necessary to have it on the feed. But I still find it a very powerful thing that his mother felt like, no, I want y'all to see what these people did to my child.
For sure.
Look at this. I'm not covering this for anyone's emotions, because y'all clearly didn't take mine or my child's emotions, let alone life, into consideration.
Yeah.
And it was unrecognizable. And I don't know if that was like a combination of the beating or like when they got his body out of the river. Because I didn't even know the river aspect. I didn't know he was actually tossed into the river.
And that's and they did give us an insight of like what Emmett went throughout this particular thing through Christina.
Yes. And see,
and how did y'all feel about that? Like I kind of just wanted some insight, and even would love to hear from It's Amazing as well too. Just like what did y'all feel about that being played through Christina receiving the treatment?
Let me it's amazing. Is she around so where she could be clicked in? Because I think I'm on what she had before,
right?
And I really did want her.
And she can pull up beside you. She can pull up beside you.
That's what I wanted her. I wanted her to do so she can answer that question. What I will say right quick as we enter into the part about Christina doing that is that when you asked me how did I feel about them not showing the picture of Emmett. Mm-hmm. Well, for me, what I took away from this episode or throughout, not took away, but what I felt throughout this particular episode, now that I had spoken to Marissa about as well, is that what's frightening, because several people was like, this is really very frightening. This is this is one of the heaviest episodes. To me, the content, the story, the intense and the injustice of what was going on to me was what was scary.
Yeah.
It was the storytelling and the way that they were unfolding things that just made you sick inside. So to see his face didn't matter that I didn't see his face. Everything about this episode and what was going on with Emmett Till's life and all the other stuff was just frightening, because we had to relive something that we have been knowing about throughout history and that we're still going through. I'm going to give her so that she can respond to the part about Christina living that part out, because of course when Ruby brought it to her, do you care? Okay. And her answer to that. So I'm going to get Issa while you and Ashley give your opinion on how you felt about that.
Yeah.
About Christina doing that.
Overall, the scariest aspect of Lovecraft Country has been the racism. Like, and what makes it even scarier is the aspect of this is all based in reality. You know, like even in episode 1, when they're in the forest and the cops have them surrounded and are about to execute them, the scariest thing is the fact that that happened. Sundown towns is a thing. Cops just showing up at your house, accusing you of gathering and going to start a riot and trying to come up in your house and just shooting up your house is a thing today. So yeah, not seeing Emmett Till's body was not necessary. And it's almost like in those horror movies where you don't see the monster. It's not seeing it that makes it even scarier. It's what worked for Jaws. It's what worked with A Silent Place. Well, I mean, you did kind of see the monster in A Silent Place. Or Bird Box. You never saw the monsters in those things, and it just resonates with people despite not actually seeing the threat. Knowing the threat was there, knowing the threat is real, is what makes it scary. And for Christina to try to reenact what Emmett Till was going through, it felt more like a situation where I don't think she was necessarily, like, on one level, she was trying to connect with Ruby in the sense of, no, she didn't understand what she was feeling as a Black woman and what Emmett felt like in that moment. But then I also thought it was just her trying to test her mark of Cain to see if it really would revive her. And while she may have experienced death in a sense, she only experienced the pain of what he went through, not the emotional turmoil, which is the most devastating part of that. To be an innocent child who is accused of something they didn't do, kidnapped, beaten, tortured, not knowing if anyone's going to find you, let alone help you, not being able to tell your mom, your friends, you love them in that last moment, that cannot be recreated by Christina. Like, she paid these people to kill her. So she's already going into this having control of the situation that Emmett Till did not have.
Yeah, she's straight.
But she also has that feeling of like, I'm gonna make it out of this. I have a 90% chance of making this out of it. But she probably thought 100% she was gonna make it out of it. And this was just a very piss poor way of her trying to relate to Ruby and seeing, can I care? Because maybe she wanted to see, can I care? And then she was like, no. And why should I? I can practically be immortal. I don't need to care about anybody. I'm gonna outlive everybody.
You know, and I want to give it to It's Amazing to also give her opinion as well. But just for me personally, I'll keep it short and sweet. This is probably the most white privilege thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
This is root of white privilege.
That is beyond me, bro. It's like, yo, you are straight up paying 2 white men to give you the so you can say, hey, I experienced this, right? And then you will live. You're gonna live. This young man will not. And at the end of the day, you are gonna, you know, like,
it's like going to a haunted house.
Yeah,
or playing in an escape room. Like, it's not the same at all.
You're so protected. Like, you're even in these moments of where you're paying these men to do this, you are so protected. And it goes back to what Ruby was saying. It's like, I want you to feel fear. I want you to really, really feel fear, because there's plenty of white folks who've had Black people lay in their bed. And anyway, I'm gonna turn this over to It's Amazing for this.
Yeah, gonna go into a whole other conversation.
Yeah, hey, we don't let it.
Yo, this was the most pretentious bull crap move. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, she heard Ruby. She heard her. Right. I mean, yeah, she heard her, but I think she heard her in a sinister type of way, because we all know that in that particular point in time, that was the most gruesome whatever that they had experienced or had witnessed to, right? And how gruesome it was. So it was like, oh yeah, this is the ultimate test of my of my sick experiment in the first place. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if she really wanted to feel the emotions that Ruby was speaking on, she could have cast the incantation spell and turned herself black.
That's the big thing.
She could have turned herself into a black person. She could have turned herself into a child, but she didn't. She just tested her limits in a haphazard way to feel adjacent to the problem, which says a whole lot about what's going on with some pseudo woke dreadlock wearing black fist holding white folk. Like some of them
to be fair to Christina though, to be fair to her incantation spell though, she couldn't just turn herself into a black person without, who knows how much blood is needed for these incantations.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. But you know what? Another thing I had to tell myself too in this particular episode was certain things are not for us, right? You know what I mean? So we can see beyond the BS that is happening, right? Like easily though. But in order sometimes for white folks or anybody else who does not live in this skin to understand, you have to see yourself in that predicament. You know what I mean? We as black folks already know what happened, what he ended up looking like. You know what I mean? And so I kind of, in a weird way, I kind of dug it. You know what I mean? Like as from a visual standpoint, because it was like, okay, you need to see yourself in it. See someone that you hold dear and protect in that predicament and see how it feels. You know what I'm saying? Black folks don't see black children and black death on this particular thing. Why? Because we still see it to this day. Every effing week. It is always a new story, a new name. But we don't see white women put it on that type of pedestal in those moments to see death like that. Hopefully those who get a secondhand experience of this can truly understand what we feel in those moments. And guess what? She lived. All right. So you mad that they just chained up this white woman, blah blah, and this and this. She is alive and well. She got
at no point did I fear for Christina's life at all in that moment.
Her little at the end, it's like what?
That's what made it an empty gesture. That's what made it an empty gesture, because she knew she wasn't gonna die.
And she wasn't dead.
And she literally got no fear.
Back out in like 2 seconds. Like didn't even give us a chance to say like, oh damn, I think she actually drowned. No, she right back up immediately.
That was like horror porn. That was porn for her.
Yeah,
I just.
It's like,
just like Antebellum was slave porn. As I'm keep saying that Antebellum is slave porn, I'm just gonna keep saying it. Let it go. And I love Janelle. So
I mean, you see my poster. She's my girl too.
I love Janelle Monáe. And Antebellum was slave porn. All right, moving on. So real talk, I'm not a fan of that movie at all.
Yes.
Everything isn't for everybody. Everything is not for everybody. So where do we think this is going? So we have, I guess I want to talk to It's Amazing and Miss Kushma to see, consider you guys have not seen the episode, the latest episode, and Ashley and I both have at this point.
I'm gonna be quiet.
You know what I'm saying? So, where y'all think this is going next? What do you think is an overall interpretation of the episode?
Miss Kushman wants to be clicked in from her phone and see if.
Oh
the
yeah,
Wi-Fi
yeah.
holds up.
So it was sounding fine. It's just y'all are right next to each other. So I think when one of y'all speaks, you just have to put yourself on mute.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Go ahead, Miss Kushman.
Okay, so are you? Hello, there I am. So for me, there's a lot that's still unanswered as to Christina's relationship. Anyway, period. With her going back and forth between William and Christina, and because she's still doing both, and so there's a lot of gray area to her relationship with Ruby as well. And so I think that going forward, some of that is going to get even more demystifying. Just like even with the whole situation of Christina going through the Emmett Till suffering bullshit, was probably a gesture to show Ruby her, but she really wants to convince Ruby that she's on her side. So she's fucking, I mean, she's messing with Ruby's head a lot. So within these last 2 episodes, I think that there's more stuff about Christina's real intent that's going to come out, as well as what's going on with Letty and her pregnancy, so that's what I'm kind of looking at, and of course, the connection between Christina and Tick. There's a lot of things that are still not tied together that I'm thinking is going to come out in the future.
Oh, real quick. So there's one scene in the Moxie and Boxy Jig-a-Bobo episode that made me think about you. And there's the scene where the cops are trying to go into the house and they get stopped by a force field, and it made me think about. So there's a thing that's in like our household where my mom. Can you just explain a little bit about if you want to keep certain spirits out of your home?
See, no, that's not funny. You shouldn't even do that. We don't even want to have to divulge things like that. But I will say this, that one of the reasons why I don't watch things at night like Marissa doesn't, like all of y'all, y'all see it live when it comes. Me, I have to wait till the next day to watch something because I don't want it to be, hitting too close to home when I'm watching it at the same time, because I can be a really chicken kind of person, But I do know that there's a way that I can stop a person at the door. That's all I'm saying, where they won't cross my threshold.
All right, yeah, because like literally, I saw that part and I was just like, "Oh my god!" Shout outs to Topher, who said he's really loving this conversation. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. It's amazing. What about you? Where do you think this is going?
I really don't care where it's going. I'm gonna be honest. I just need them to finish up the real story. So I don't care about all of these side stories. This ain't my type of stilo anyway. And now that I've seen the Bobo episode, I'm good. But no, I need to find out about Letty and this baby, because I have thoughts about Letty in my own head. Like I think it was Leonard earlier. I need Uncle George to come back in some form because I think he's still out there. Thank you, Leonard. Me too. Leonard, in my head, the monster in this episode was Uncle George protecting them. I mean, I know it's probably not, but either way, I need them to wrap Uncle George up. I need him to pop back up as a spirit guide of some sort. And I think that what Tick and his dad was trying to do is to throw the old Daegu witch off, and he's gonna have to die looking like the dad's gonna have to die looking like Tick.
Mm.
So somewhere I feel like that's gonna happen. I feel like the dad is gonna have to die looking like Tick.
Okay.
So that her premonition can come true without drastically changing the timelines. Because she did see it. She saw him die. So
yeah.
But other than that, I don't care about none of this other stuff.
Something about that part about Montrose being dyslexic, but then he's the one reading the spell. I was like, hold up now. Yeah.
That's what I said too.
You can't tell me because, like, first of all, you already mixing up English words. If you mix the order of this ancient language as you do this incantation, what's gonna happen?
My dude was like,
because stuff is not in this show accidental. That wasn't accidental that we find out he dyslexic while he reading the spell.
Right. They as a throwaway, and this him being dyslexic, I don't think it's just a throwaway. It's gonna come back somehow. I personally think he's the one that transformed into the monster.
Yeah, well, they used to wrap up anyway. They said it was one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like
about being dyslexic is important.
Right. They don't ever just throw you any old line. It's usually for a reason. So
nothing. Not at all.
Never.
I don't think
never.
Way. No. So I just want to first off say it is always a pleasure to hear Black women speak. Just saying. Nothing gives me more joy. And thank you guys again. So really quickly before we stop this cast for today, thank you to everybody that has been checking out on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We will continue to do these types of productions. If you want us to see us do more talks about Lovecraft Country or any other thing in the science fiction nerdom, please let us know. But before we go, we have to make sure that each one of these amazing women, you'll be able to follow them on their social medias. So how can people stay in touch with you all? Let's start off with Ash got him, and then go all the way around.
You can mainly find me on, I guess you could follow my actual Instagram at Ash_GOTEEM. And then I also have my music video Instagram at AKS_AMVS, and that's also a Facebook page as well. So you can just see all the random little. Oh wow, you just really just gonna put me on blast.
I mean, okay. you might as well follow there.
Lovecraft, my little Lovecraft lunchbox over there on the side.
Yeah.
That was really fun. But yeah, also my video edits that I do for fun. Again, AKS_AMVS. That's also a Facebook page. You can check out new stuff on Sundays and just throughout the week. On Thursdays. Oh, I started dancing. Sorry. On Thursdays, I post some of my throwback edits that I made back in like middle school and college. And throughout the week, I'll just upload anything new that I just have. I just feel like editing. Like I actually have a new post I'm gonna do probably tonight.
Right on. Thank you very much. Ash got him. Let's turn it over to It's Amazing.
Well, it's pretty simple. It's amazing. All over the interwebs. It's amazing on Instagram, which is where I spend most of my time with me and my dog. And it's amazing on Twitter. And I do have a It's Amazing Facebook page, but I mainly will engage on anything, but I'm mainly fitness and mental fitness, spiritual fitness, and physical fitness related. So, and then just other random things that bring me joy, because that is a part of my mental fitness and well-being. So
yes.
Yeah.
Mental health matters.
Gains. Wait, hold on. Gains. Wait. One more. Gains, baby. You don't know. There we go. Kettlebell champion over here. I don't know if y'all knew about that, but just letting you know, she is a kettlebell champion. If you need someone to get your diet and everything together, then you need to be hitting up this amazing. You know what I'm saying? Right on, right on. All right, and without further ado, let's add her back in here now. There we go. All right. And Miss Hatsephi Kushma, how can they stay in tune with you?
Well, y'all know I'm old school. Don't nobody be following me. I don't be doing no Instagram and tweeting. I ain't the president and all that other bullshit. But I will say, no, I'm not saying your social media is bullshit. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I'm old school. So basically, if you want to see what I do or what I've done, you can hit me on. You can just look up my credits on IMDb, which is the internet database under Hatsephi Kushma, and you'll see all the different film productions that I've done. And then I have a website which is www.hkfilms-stl.com, and that you'll all see the other things that I've worked on and what I do as a producer, director, consultant, and things like that. What I like mostly right now is kind of, doing, like I said, what I want to, when I want to. And I'll start at Webster next week with my film studies class. So that's why I kind of like ride under the radar, more or less, so that people are not really following me, because that's my choice. That's my choice. I'm writing a book now, so I'm moving on to doing some bigger and better things.
Shout outs to getting credits on IMDb. It is not easy. You gotta actually be doing the work. So shout outs to being on IMDb. Let's go, man. You know what I mean? Let's get it. So please continue to follow. Check out the website. Continue to look at the credits on IMDb. The website is quite amazing as well. So hit it up for the contact. You know what I mean? If you need to get some work, you know what I mean? Like that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? It has been truly, 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 truly a pleasure to have such amazing, talented women on this call today. Shout outs again to It's Amazing, Ash, Guiding, Hatsephi Kushma, and your boy.
I appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much, man. This has been such a fun final simulcast. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Go do something geeky. Go blurred out. All right. And we will see you all at Sunday at blurred.radio. Much love to everyone. Let's get it. All right.